Well, here my brother and Rob and myself, James, here we have always dairy farmed. We have done that since we were kids. Our parents, they sort of started here. We're at our location here north of Madison, and so that would make us third generation. Our grandparents started. So we've always had cows, pretty much. That's been the constant through everything. And over time, though, every decade or so, things are changing and evolving. So we have been with Sassy Cow, our creamery, that's been in operation since 2008 now. And that was just an extension of the farms growing and changing and meeting our customer and community around us. So dairying, first and foremost, kind of being our passion and interest. We like the cows, and we like the farming aspect of that. Taking the hurdle over to the value added or the direct marketing, that decision kind of came about more with longer term, kind of what we were looking to do. You know, always the volatility question that farmers face and the uncertainties of markets and that. So doing the creamery was just sort of another way of growing the farm and the business besides just numbers. So even though our cattle numbers have grown slowly over time, this was another avenue of growth. And a couple of the bigger factors that maybe pushed us over the edge was we live close to Madison, and so Dane County is a good market for us. Then just beyond that is Milwaukee and Chicago and Minneapolis. So I think as farms and urban areas coexist and grow at the same time, there's opportunity to look at how to work together a little better doing that. Our primary product is still fluid milk, but over time we've had to add on a time or two and grow the ice cream business a little bit more. And we've also, the latest change has been, you know, people are very interested in not just a little bit more than just the actual product on their table. So the curiosities or the educational opportunities that people are looking for, we had to go and make some improvements and additions to the creamery as well to facilitate that a little better, because not only do we get our local communities that come out and see us, but we also have, you know, their relatives and their friends and visitors. We can be a destination for that as well. Yeah, the Rotary parlor was probably a bigger decision that we had to make. In the end, you know, in a farmer's lifetime, he doesn't build a whole lot of parlors. At least most of us don't. So they get to be like, you look at the decision that you're going to be living with for 10, 20, or 30 years. So our biggest factor that made us go with the Rotary was that we had been in a herringbone parlor for 15 plus years, and it served us well. And it was the biggest thing we did at the time, moving out of a tie stall stanchion barn into a parlor. And so that was like a big jump. And now 15, 20 years later, you have another big investment to make. And we looked at, if we're going to do another parlor and you get all said and done and you have a brand new shiny parlor, but it's about the same thing that you had the last 15 or 20 years, that investment didn't feel as maybe as wise, or you didn't have the confidence about doing that. So then that put us over into the looking at the rotaries versus the robots, because, you know, dealers are telling us they're doing a lot more robots now, and we've been to both. So you visited rotaries, you visited robots. So that was the big decision then, which way to go. And in the end, for us, I think our size-wise, we felt that we were maybe a little more leaning towards for the number of cows that we were going to milk, 600 cows, we felt the Rotary was actually a better fit than running that amount of robots for that size of herd. So you're going with the Rotary option, and then the next kind of decision ends up being how much of how many options are you putting on that Rotary? Are we keeping it very very basic, or are we putting everything on there that technology will allow it to do? So then that kind of falls back on some personal preference things. My brother and myself, we love cows and we like dairying, but we like all of farming. We're pretty hands-on as well. So for us, our primary goal was getting cows milked fast and efficiently and comfortably. But beyond that, then we didn't have a lot of big needs after that. So adding the TSR robot, that was a real nice fit because it helped with the efficiency and the speed and the amount of labor needed to milk cows. But after that, a lot of the technologies and the meterings and the information that can be pulled from the milking time, that wasn't first on our priority list. And that's why we went with probably a little more basic Rotary. The place that fit was the best was our Rotary size and our manpower and labor and how we do things. We, for the 600 cows and the size of the Rotary, it just made the milking process and the flow work better. Having that one TSR do all of the post dipping. And so that once we were, after prepping cows and attaching units, then that was pretty much, after that, everything was done on its own. So that was the biggest savings for that part of the parlor.